Thank you for the work. We are following you people, and I can promise you, we are behind you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Comrade Okoit, I want to respond to one of the comrades in the comment section, Andy Riz. Yeah, he was asking Ahmed, talk about a scenario where security operatives shoot at people for wearing red attires. Okay, yeah, this one, techniques, we have to settle down and talk about, like, let's say if we carry out a protest and we have identity as people power, we must also know that even our opponent, the oppressor, might also use the same identity to justify using violence against us. So we can decide, we can choose not to wear anything that can give us identity. So that, I don't know if Okoit, you have heard of these gangs. There is a setup of gangs, and they are planning you know, to use those gangs during the election time, and they are trying to paint a picture. They are trying to portray us as violent people. You understand? So for me, what I would suggest on such a day, we shouldn't wear something that is going to distinguish us, because by doing so, you're going to find a scenario whereby these people are going to start, you know what they did to our president in Arua that time, when they said they found guns in his houses and stuff like that. They are going to come up with different gangs, and they start doing violent actions. They would try by all means to make sure that they find a way of how they can use violence against us, or how they can justify their violence against us. So for us not to fall in that trick, what we have to do is to make sure that from the start we try as much as possible to make sure that we are non-violent. By being non-violent, it doesn't mean that we are going to overthrow a government in a non-violent way. That non-violent trick, it will help us to, one, to bring people on the streets. The moment you look back and you see you have, let's say, 1,000 or 4,000 people behind you, the solidarity can start from there. I'm telling you, if the number can overwhelm the security, that's when you can decide what to do with those numbers. But trust me, if we are 50, if we are 50 and we decide to get violent, what they will do, they will shoot two. 20 will run away, 10 will also look for how they can survive. At the end of the day,
and fear would have been created.
Yeah, the more numbers you manage to get, it's what will enable you to conquer the fear in people. Because the moment, let's say you are 4,000 or 500,000 people on the streets, even if they shoot one bullet in the air, let's say 1,000 will run away. Obviously, not everyone that is going to be in the crowd is as brave as anyone else. Obviously, when they shoot in the air, few will run away. But the small number that will run away, the one that will remain still will be able to take on the mantle. Than when you are 50, they shoot one bullet in the air, 25 run, you remain 25, they shoot two on live bullet. Let's say they shoot two and they are killed, then the other ones are also scared away. So that kind of setup won't give us a successful protest. You understand? A protest, sometimes you see all those successful protests, they take time. There is the behind the scenes that we don't see. People go through different series of activities they do, bravery, that can make one brave. Okay? Not everyone is not that you are going to take everyone in that kind of training. Like they can have a target of let's say 1,000 people. They know that this 1,000 they are the ones that are going to motivate the other ones. Not everyone that is going to be there has to go into that training of being brave and ready to put their life on the line. But in those successful protests that you see, there is something like 1,000 who have gone this training of training their heart, their body and soul to be brave. You understand? They know it's like a combination. It's like having a team. You know that I have four people who are very good. The other ones are just subordinates. But even by being subordinates, they are also playing a role of having a big crowd. You understand? At the end of the day, if I see Okoit rallying with me, even if they shoot, the solidarity will come from there. You see your comrade, you say, okay, if we die, we die. But today is the day. That spirit of solidarity, togetherness, unity, and what it comes when we are many. But if you are few, it won't come. Obviously, if they shoot, you are
The
50
effect can't be felt.
people.
Yeah, very true.
You understand? So let's try by all means to come up with different strategies of how we can gather people on the streets. Even a 15 year, even a 13-year can play a significant role. I don't know if you have read about the Soweto uprising. It was led by
Yeah,
students
yeah.
and they were wearing uniforms. They were wearing uniforms. And most of these non-violent actions, these are actions that even most of these kids have tried in schools, strikes. You understand? If you engage these kids and tell them about these nonviolent strategies, they will also start politicizing issues. Let's say in a home, you are a parent and you are not financially stable. Tell this child it's because of this system that I cannot afford your breakfast or your dinner or whatever. I'm
No,
telling you.
this is just a hint. So
Yeah.
my daughter one day didn't have school fees. I told her, this government has failed my business. As we speak right now, actually, at some point during the 2016 election, I was still in opposition. I got arrested. My daughter, no, actually, no, it was people power. I got arrested in 2018. I think 18 or 19. My daughter came to police and told those people, if you do not release my father, she was, I think, about 5 or 6 years. If you don't release my father, I am not going to leave this place. The baby cried. From that time,
Mm.
my daughter does not have any kind of words for this government. So she's there, me and people power. I am a Manu fan and so forth. Anyway, as you wind up, I want to give an
Yeah,
opportunity
as I
to
wind up,
champion, then
you
Latifa,
see,
then the greatest genius.
let me wind up in 2 seconds. As I wind up, still
Yeah.
on that same point, if we go on with that kind of, culture, you tell your child it's because of this government I couldn't manage to pay your fees. By the time they meet and they have, their engagements, you understand, they will also be talking about, you see, it's this government that my dad cannot pay fees. Then by the time you tell them, okay, tomorrow is the day when you're going to demonstrate about our dissatisfaction towards this government, tomorrow is the day. You find out they will come up with different, you can even tell them, okay, come up with anything like a drawing showing your dissatisfaction towards this government. By the time they come on streets, they will come with those posters. They have to be part of this. They have to know what is happening in their country. Whether they are 12, whether they are what, go and check the age of those kids who carried out that Soweto uprising. They were in uniform, but they were fearless. They were never intimidated by these bullets because they knew is the white person who was their enemy. And it all started with their parents at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Greatest, my brother. Yeah, respect. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hassan, for today's time. Just as I said earlier on, I don't want us to get tired. I want to commit myself that I will always have a topic for us to discuss on a daily. On a daily. I want to appreciate comrades because this account is only about 3 days old. But how comrades were able to push me, so fast to be able to hold a life is what I want to say. There is a lot of hope, a lot of hope. Champion, it's okay. We'll first give Latifa, then maybe when you come back, we'll give you the opportunity. You is in a noisy place. So there is only going to be one way for us to push whatever we are trying to push. Because I can assure you, comrades, TikTok has the power and the capacity to push our campaign as far as we want, only if we get organized. Personally, I have a lot that I would wish to share, just like everybody else here has a lot to share. But I can assure you, if we do not have a platform that gives everybody an opportunity equally to share their ideas and insights, we will not be able to achieve anything. So I want to pray that for us who have accepted to be in this engagement, I want us to take time to go and do research, to come up with information, so that whenever we converge here, people feel it is worth to be here to listen to us. I don't want a scenario where people come just to collect gossip, come and add more fire on already a burning house. I want us to be known as that platform in NUP that is educative, interactive, and empowering for other comrades. Latifa Nax, you're most welcome.
Thank you. I hope. How are you guys? How are you doing? Do you hear me?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So maybe is it okay if I can mix English and Luganda so that I can at least clearly pass my message?
It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So I have one question. I have one question for you, the host. Do you think finance can hinder the progress of protest voting?
Yeah, I think with the history of Uganda's politics, you and I will agree that money will a little bit hinder, because why? The first incentive that a dictator always presents before becoming violent to young people is a promise of giving you money or giving you a job. Now, when you turn down the promise, they will bring you the money. Now, if the money does not work, then they go violent. I can assure you that most of our comrades that were arrested and are still in prison, some of them were already promised money, but they said, no, we cannot take the money. So they will keep you inside. But also, let me give it in the other perspective, because I've already seen Greatest the Genius asking a question. Let me give the other perspective. Money and politics are intertwined things. For us to be able to fasten our campaign for a protest vote, we cannot deal away with the support money can give, because we are running against time, but also we are running against an organization of very ruthless people who have access to all funds. So while we struggle to buy data, they already have access to free internet. While our comrades are not able to buy a smartphone, they are giving out smartphones to their bullies on internet. While we are trying to build an account on social media, they are already employing boot accounts and phone farms. while we are trying to see how to put in place online platforms like these ones that we have now, they are already campaigning and buying people to say how to report this account so that they can be destroyed. But also the other thing is moving the message from one place to another necessitates money. I want to give an example of Teso sub-region and Kampala. Now, Kampala being a metropolitan place, if you're leaving Mukono and you're coming to the headquarters of NUP, you spend less than 10,000, or you might spend 10,000. But give an example of a comrade leaving a place called, let me say, Kapelebiong, maybe Orungo in Kapelebiong, and he's coming to Soroti, where the only regional office of NUP is, for a capacity building training. First of all, he has to spend 20,000 to reach Soroti and another 20,000 to go back. That is 40,000. But remember, you're inviting this comrade to have this meeting on an empty stomach, because the party can't afford water, neither can the party afford food. So the money becomes important in helping these people who want to do capacity building move the message from Soroti to Kapelebiong, where it is affordable for the other comrade who cannot afford the 40,000 to come. Now, without money and facilitation, it also limits the message of the protest vote to reach the people, the audience that we are looking at. Like right now, I am with you here, but how many young people in Teso do not have a smartphone or a platform like the one we are doing now? So money is very key in a number of manners. If they use it to buy our people, it is dangerous. But if we invest it in trying to propel and fasten the reach of the message, it is a two-way tool. It can destroy us, it can make us win, it can also make us lose if they identify that we have a weakness in money. Thank you. And I think the greatest has an idea that he wants to share with us. So let me give him the opportunity to equally give you his position. Please, the greatest. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I would love to thank that lady who has given a very, very pertinent question regarding whether money or finances. She used a broad word, finances, and now my brother who has given a modern way of looking at things. Now I can tell you for a fact that the great revolutions that we know, there is none that has had the sufficient, what we would call factors, moderate factors that can overthrow a government. The biggest and greatest tool or motivating factor is the message. And I can tell you for a fact, if we align our message truthfully, speaking it day and night to the people, the money will come by itself. Let me tell you, people who know the revolution that brought this, sorry, it's not even a revolution. I can call it the thuggery that brought these guys to power. They aligned a very intricate message.
That's a very correct way. It's not a revolution. It's not a revolution. Really, it's a thuggery.
It's a thuggery. Because they confused our great-grandfathers and our fathers and lied to them. But deep down their hearts, the message was not actually liberation. Even when you look from the word go, the people who are in this revolution, this thuggerism, they were with intentions. That's why right now, those who were there with right intentions are asking deeper questions, the likes of Mugisha Montu and others. Because for them, they were hoodwinked and they were lied to. That means that the message from the word go, somebody knew the message better than others. Now, let us go to us. Our leader of this struggle, the chosen one, has been very clear that while he is fronting a revolution with the power of the people, he is speaking of two messages. The first message is that power will get back to the people. And what does this imply? Everything we do as leaders who are going to be in the government in waiting, we shall be serving people. Now, what was the trick in the other this regime that is taking us? This man came with this thing, I am going to take away Idi Amin and his groups and he was not speaking about people. And now the people thought that the message at hand was to get rid of Idi Amin. They forgot that when we get rid of Idi Amin, were they going to retain power by themselves? No. The man did not speak where power will be centered. And that is the problem we are suffering with right now. I beg to differ, because when we begin to front the issue of money or finances, we are now going to bring a very big discourse in how people are looking at things. And that's why this man has been very central, fronting money at all avenues. Now, for us as people power, we know we don't have money, but we have the support of the people. What is lacking right now is a message with solid values, with a clear passage, with attitude that for us, this is what we stand for. Those who feel like they feel a Uganda which is complicated, tragic, which is full of assassinations, full of corruption, full of leaders who are not accountable, let them go. You know, our message must be very clear. And our perception and the attitude and the way we carry this message frontwise. I like the way the vigor this man uses. When he is speaking, he reminds me of Martin Luther King. The message must be straightforward and to the point. Now, do we need money? No, money will come by itself. Omuntu bw'alabanga, let me use my language in the sense. When a person sees that there is a motivating factor which will speak about putting back the country to where it is supposed to be, and the person hears this message, Monday to Monday, Monday to Monday, and they are calling up people to fight for their country. The younger generation, which is between 0 to 35 years, those people do not know about things that have happened before post-Museveni era. Nobody knows that, including myself. I cannot begin to speak about what happened during the time of Idi Amin and Obote 1 and Obote 2.
Themselves.
You understand? Yeah. So what I need to speak right now is to tell these people that we were invaded by a parasite called Museveni. We were invaded by these Illuminatis called NRA. We were invaded by these Pangions called NRA. And now we begin to tell them, what did they do? Please listen. What did they do? They came with a message of lies. They did not come with a message that transits and unites Ugandans. Rather, they came with a message that was going to destroy Uganda, loot Uganda, create enemies around Uganda, and for whose gain? Their own gain. So our message must be central. Our message must be concrete. Our message must be truthful. And when we are speaking truthful, then we begin to rally behind these youth, because the youth do not mind about money. They mind about dying for their own country. If you look at what happened in Egypt, it was the youth, an 18-year-old girl rose up and took social media by what? On fire. And what happened is the people who believed that her message was central and truthful, they took up on the streets. The people who are going to give you money, they will be there. I can tell you for a fact. People who will give you money will be there. But if you put it as a major factor, I'm telling you, that's a wrong cause in a wrong revolution. I beg to submit.
Yeah. So I needed to clarify. So I think my position about the money, I gave a clue of what I thought it would be understood, because I was giving an example anchored on one thing. Let us imagine we all agree that 90% of the media outlets in Uganda are either owned or controlled by NRM or their proxies. But then we need publicity and outreach. What do we need that for? That is campaigns and grassroots mobilization. Now, for us to reach out to the audience in which we wish to convey our message, we will not be able to have access to the internet should they decide to put it off. So meaning they are going to cripple our TikTok and our X Spaces. Two, they will, as of course you've seen several times, NUP will book a radio talk show and then the RDS will make a call and say, stop it there. In one of the revolutions that all of us are aware, the South African revolution, the 6 cities of mobilization and so forth, we will approve that for Mandela and the NSC to win the apartheid people, there was groundwork in silence. Now, for you to move, like I still want to give an example of where I come from, because the demographics of Teso are totally different from some other places. Now, I want to move to go and share this message of hope that we have shared right now, the protest and so forth. I remember when there was the Kasepichi campaign, I think in Kampala, so the one of drumming, saucepans and so forth. Trust me, you guys did well in Central and other places, and actually trading centers. But then Museveni has the advantage in rural areas. Why? One, the DISOs and the PISOs are all campaigning for the NRM.
Let me help you there. Let me help you.
Just a minute. Okay, fine. You present, it's fine.
The structure composition of the hierarchy of how things are run in the rural areas is a little bit different, and that is what has brought the antagonism of how messages flow. Now, I have been emphasizing that as people power movement, we also need to start a coded way of transferring message. Coding means that there is a certain way you speak, and if I use that code, the person who is in Lira, in Soroti, and in Kaberamaido and all those other places, we'll only hear that code and know that these guys are now transmitting this information. It has been used all over revolutions. We must also plan on a better way to pass over information using the different avenues that we have, because definitely we know that the stakes are different and they are higher against us when it comes to channels of communication. It is very, very evident. We cannot go to radios. We cannot use the television media. We are actually cut out. Now, the only space that we have where we have beaten these guys hands down is social media, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, wherever you have to go, and other avenues, Instagram and the others. Now, are we using those spaces rightfully? Are we passing over this message in a constructive and coded manner? When I say code, I mean that if we wake up to speak, when somebody says Vitano, somebody will know we are talking about who. Somebody will not need to mention somebody's name. Vitano, everybody knows who is Vitano. Now, even the message, if we say we are going to maybe assemble at City Square or so, we must bring out codes that when I speak it in Teso, people will know this code means we align ourselves to be somewhere. Are we using that? The metamorphoric of how we need to structure these messages must be that even when security personnel try to get and code and try to find out, it will be very hard for them to decode and debunk this information, because we have already set a precedence. If it is the way we are sending messages, recently I was reading how the Chinese Revolution managed to beat. They created coded information that while they spread it in Chinese, few Chinese were able to decode the information and find out how and what it means. So are we doing that? I think we are not doing it. And I think it is a concept we need to start right now and say, if we are going to move people, we are asking them to assemble anywhere. We cannot tell them by phone, you call and then say, my brother, hey, tomorrow we are going here. Of course, we know that when they get that voice call, they will understand what your plans are. And that's how they have been able to bring down Kampala. We need to also emphasize on how we transmit communication. If it is coded information, let us use it. Let us begin to have people who can teach. Some of us have learned coded languages. I can speak a coded language for 1 hour and nobody will go here with any message of what I'm meaning. Only those who are privy will know what I'm speaking about. So are we doing it? No. Is it possible that we can speak the same language and be at the top of the game? No, we can't, because these people can enter our systems using different channels. Is it possible that we can do coded languages? Yes, we don't need even many, because in Uganda, not so many people are literate. I will just wake up and say Rusamvu. What does Rusamvu mean? Only those who are privy will understand. If we use mechanisms that are different, we must create our own things. We cannot use things that the junta has been practicing for the last 40 years. We cannot win him at that. But what we can do is mass mobilization, is truthful message, and it is also to tell people the truth. The truth is, some people in a revolution have to die. Don't ask me who is going to die, because everybody will ask, is it me or is it you? No, the country is ours. If we are going and your leader is on the front line and you are behind him, everybody else will follow. If you are the LC1 chairman, if you are the DPC, okay, let's talk about ordinary persons. Then we know that if somebody sees that a top shot has stood up, the others will follow. What we need is leadership, a truthful message, and then the factors of code of speaking and transmitting information. I beg to thank you.
Now, as Latifa comes back, I needed us, just as we have said, we need to pass our message in the truth. Of course, while money plays a significant role in achieving what we want, I agree with you. It is not a sole determinant of our success. We have a number of factors that will support the money. But we should also agree that there is an important role that money may play. And our engagement here should always also capture the context at which the nature and the scale of our revolution. We are a starting revolution of a generation that is not as mentally prepared, strong, or even committed to the struggle. That is why you realize, if you went and did your own analysis and your own research, you would realize that 80% of young people who are with alien skin now and MK in 2017, 2018 were all in NUP or People Power. But because their minds are kind of pre-built to have a certain kind of determinant points in life, they had to leave us because they did not see the expectation. Now, in such a not yet organized network, you might not be able to achieve some things because you need to organize. So what is the level of our organization? How strong is the leadership of our mobilization teams? Because as we speak right now, we are still waiting for our constitution to be gazetted. So the structure we're using right now is like an acting appointed structure for mobilization. Now, at the end of the day, we even fear to send them out because we think they can be bought off. Now, this is where we need to be discussing. At what level do we look at ourselves now? How organized are we to be able to just make a call and say, genius, Bitanu. From genius, the Bitanu goes to champion. From champion, it goes to Hassan. From Hassan, it goes to Latifa. Because once our structures are clear, then we are done. It's a matter of making a call and the information trickles as fast as it can. Now, building a structure is the same as building a house. It calls for a foundation. It calls for flowering. It calls for anything else. Now, that foundation, what is the investment that we are putting in building that structure there? Personally, I would say, for me, I move. I can go to Katakwi on my own. I can go to Serere on my own. The question is, that district coordinator, does he have the capacity to move from his district to another sub-county, to another parish, to a village? Now it comes back to what we are dealing with. We are dealing with a young generation of people who do not have access to their personal support. That is where now your idea comes in from, when you said people who want to support will always be there. Now, because of lack of platforms like this, trust me, for you to know that I am in NUP, it was an initiative I took the other, I think about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. I began to join those of Champion, those of General Edie on their live engagements. From there, I said, okay, we can do this. Now, today, the principal is able to pick my video and share it on his platform, because this phone has been able to help me come up. Now, we have so many young men only known within their districts. How do we empower them? We're not saying we should give them money to do whatever they want, but is there a way we can say, greatest, you are in Kabarole, this is 10,000 shillings. Go and buy that or go and do ABCD. I want to assure you, the first person you're supposed to mobilize is your household. The Bible tells me, if you can't take care of your own household, you're worse than an unbeliever. Me, I don't believe in money. When I was voted as a councillor in my first term in council, I never used money. It was my message. But my argument is, how does our message reach to the people? So we need to look for mechanism on how to organize our communication structure, so that by the time we talk about we don't need radios, what alternative do you have to reach to that village woman that NRM's PISO, NRM's head teacher, the LC1 is able to walk to and talk to? How do we reach to them? Those are ideas I would want us to try to coin out and try to say how to deploy them as cheap as we can. Latifa, you're welcome. Sorry we spent your time. You're still welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, you've talked all what I was going to say, but I want to add on that. And the reason why I asked that question is because I've seen, like in Uganda, we can like maybe make do statistics, like how many people can afford smartphone on the media, like out of my like 50 millions. It's like maybe it can even be like less than 5 million people. That means other people, like especially in the remote areas, yeah, may not be able to get our message. But how are we going to make our message reach to those remote areas, those people in deep villages? Yeah. So that's where I came to realize that at least we need like something, or we need to support each other, so that we don't leave those people behind. And if whatever we are doing, for example, whatever we are doing, sometimes it needs money. For example, if our president goes to those areas, northern part, everywhere, he needs, like, he's using money. If you the host, you're trying to move everywhere, that means you're using money. So what about those people who cannot, like, who have a desire of spreading the message? Yeah, of spreading the message, but they can't because of the finance, like transport. So how are we going to help those people? This is where I call upon everyone, whoever who can, can support whatever little you have. Yeah, we support to the headquarters, such that the headquarters of National Unity Platform will be able to assist those people to do the work, so that everyone in Uganda get the information. Because tuba twagala okusensitizinga abantu ababali mu byalo, however much Museveni, the biggest problem we have, Museveni lead us into a sticking poverty. Okitegeera, ate era yatuteekamu obwo obwavu, kigenderere nti omuntu omwavu cannot do anything, we can't help each other. Kati nga tukozesezza obwavu buno Museveni bwe yatuteekamu, how are we going to help each other mu bwavu bwaffe? So tulina kweyamba, we 15,000, we 2,000, we mmeka, let's like tutandika okukolayo groups kubanga ne Museveni during Museveni ngajja bazadde baffe baatugamba waaliko abamusupportinga abali silent abali abagagga ne bantu kinnoomu abantu baaleetanga ne oba tolina ssente ng'onuwa abaaleetanga emiwogo ne bagiwa abasirikale mulimu abaagamazikangu abasirikale butsi okitegeera mu ngeri y'okweyamba kati naffe tugenda kweyamba tutya tusobola okugamba nti kati ng'abantu bamanya abantu abamu balina propaganda kuba era abantu we nayogerako ekintu ekyo nendaba abantu bangi banjikira nnyo mu inbox neŋŋamba abantu wano walabika waliwo eggumba abantu bano tebaagala tweyambe kulaba nga tutuusa message ne mu byalo eyo baagala tusigale wano nga tuli ku media kwokka okitegeera kati neŋŋamba abaana tujja kwekolangamu ebigurupu especially naffe abantu abali mu diaspora tuyambengako abantu abo olina kugamba abantu abagala tukolamu ssente obaweereza ssente bagenda kwegaggawaza neŋŋamba twekolemu gurupu kale nga tugamba tukwate ssente ze tukuŋŋanyiza mu gurupu tuzisindike ku kitebe kati omuntu yenna ayagala kati nga gwe host you can go to tusobola okuwa message nogala tusindise ssente ku kitebe oba miliyoni 3 oba zonna ze tuba tusindise mu gurupu bwe bati genda okole ki ozisabeyo oba tubagamba ab'ekitebe ssente zo tuzisindikidde abantu b'ekkoboko twagala tutwaleyo oba kalenda twagala tutwaleyo flyers twagala tutwaleyo t-shirt so gojja kuvaawo ogenda ozipicking already baba bakoze buli kimu materials nga waali okitegeera so oba tukola n'ebyo ebintu information ng'etambula mu bantu omuntu omutwalira t-shirt oba kalenda n'omubuulira what is protest vote ekitegeeza n'ogezaako omunyonyola nti ne baba bakuwadde ssente n'omubuulira ebintu why alina okuprotestinga kiki kyalina like nti protest ebeerawo ne babitegeera inti no NRM oba muleetedde ssente omanye nti ssente ze bakuleetedde oba otunze eggwanga lyo oba otunze oba omanye nti onootwala omwana mu malwaliro tegenda kuba ddagala nti omuntu oyo aba akuguze tikyonna kyogenda kumubanja myaka 5 emirala ng'akuwadde sabbuni ne sukaali nti tolina kyogenda abanga eyagula akalulu ku 15 ku kiro ya sukaali z'akuwadde. So try to sensitize those people. The information you tugenda gitandika tutya nti by supporting ourselves tweyambe okitegeera message eyo abaana bagituuse eyo ebuduude yo mu nsozi naye tukoze tutya okubayamba bawa transport abatuuse tukoze batya bawa materials ge bagenda okutwala plus like message gye bagenda okugamba abo abantu. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was so eloquent. Yeah. Let's give Hassan to say something, and then Champion.
Yeah.
Thinker, you're welcome.
First of all, I would like to make it clear. In a revolution, we need money. We need funds. Why do we need funds? My brother, Greatest, has been talking about the previous revolutions. But as revolutionaries, we have to revise the strategies that have been used in the past and how they have changed over time. We are in a digital world right now. You understand? Most of the revolutions that we talk about, they happened long time ago. And even when you look at the system of governance at that time, most of the countries were under ease and stuff like that. You understand? Right now, in our revolution, we are striving to achieve political goals. Okay? That's why it's very important for us to try to learn and revise how successful strategies have changed over time. Like you gave a living example, saying that okay, our opponents, they have finance. If let's say one of their members needs data, it's very easy for them to do what? To give them data, and they conduct the lives and pass on whatever they want to, to feed out there, whether it's propaganda or driving narrative, all those kind of stuff. Us, it's a challenge to some of the comrades. You understand? Some of our comrade members, they find a challenge, especially in Uganda. to maintain a life like this for even 2 hours, it's costly, it's expensive. You understand? And aside from that, our sister Ratifa, she wanted more clarity of how a revolution can be funded. One, I'll tell you that to fund a revolution, always and always be part of the non-violent campaign. When I talk about the non-violent campaign, remember, in our strategy, we are looking forward to overthrow this government legally. You understand? Within the laws that we have. So voting or elections is one of the non-violent campaign that we have to look up to. During elections, we need t-shirts. We need fuel. Most of our comrades, foot soldiers, who move with the president, they will need fuel. Those are some of those are some of the key areas where I think if you want to invest as something, or if you want to fund the revolution, that you can look up to. Even there are some other non-violent campaigns that we carry out in a revolution, strikes, even social movements. Like, remember, we had this hashtag that was moving the parliamentary what? That march to parliament.
Regional parliamentary sittings.
Yes, that was moving on. We look at a situation whereby most of our comrades were arrested, and they required bail and stuff like that. So some of these protests that we carry on, not only this one, the protest vote, but there are other demonstrations that we have been carrying out, whereby we reach a situation whereby we have to get lawyers to defend our comrades, even in situation whereby our comrades have faced, let's say, police brutality, all those kind of situation and cases that we encounter in this revolution, they require money. And the burden most of the time goes to our political party, that we all know that it doesn't like have finance apart from.
By the way, Hassan, just to chip in, many of us are exposed a little bit. You see, in modern democracies, the moment you declare the moment you declare interest to contest for a political office, the first thing they ask you to do is to declare all your finances and all the sources. After you're done nomination, they are going to monitor the sources of your income. Should they see that you spent even a coin of your personal finance, you're most likely going to be disqualified. What they do is, your people that support you, who say, okay, Hassan is contesting. I'm giving you money for fuel. I'm giving you money for A, B, C, D. That is how it's supposed to be. It is not the party to give you support. But you see how these NRM guys have turned around people's minds. People want to contest under NUP, but they will ask you, okay, is the party going to fund my campaign? And then you'll be like, but wait a minute, how does the party do that? Where does the party get the money from? So it comes back to what Latifa said. There should be, actually what Latifa said and what you said, there should be a point where the non-violent team comes up and says, okay, now me as Hassan and Latifa, we are going to mobilize our money to facilitate Champion and the foot soldiers with shoes and with water whenever they go to the field. Or we are supporting Map Media with data, or with better phones, or we are supporting foot soldiers with A, B, C, D, while you're not doing anything. But okay, the challenge I have here is now we need to be accountable. So meaning the mobilization of funds seems to be more recognized if it goes through the secretariat. But I also think that we needed to reach a point where we can directly support committed people. When you see a cadre that, okay, Hassan is committed, and we have proven that Hassan is committed, we can say, okay, like just like comrades in diaspora did to the late Honorable Segrinya, may his soul rest in peace. They saw his commitment. They saw his honesty.
Yeah.
They saw his transparency. Then they gave him the support, and from that support, he was able to deliver food to people in his community, to begin initiatives that helped him propel his candidature until he became a member of parliament. So, so something like that.
Yeah, and on top of that, what I wanted to say, you know what, in 2021, do you know that there are people who fail to contest because they lack even money to print out their posters? And NRM and those positions were unopposed, and were only NRM, you know? I asked, because I tried to reach to one person, and I asked, how did you guys let this person come like unopposed? Someone told me, oh, we did not have money for registration.
Nominations.
Yeah, for nomination and also print out the poster and do campaigns. Can you imagine? This is why we have to help each other, because this helps NRM.
It's just a matter of
Yeah, so Champion, have you got a quiet place? We give you an opportunity to give a presentation, then we give to Tinker, then we call it a day, because we're approaching 2 o'clock and all of us are hustlers. So Champion, you're welcome. Champion wa Bobby, Oliao, Obo Genze. Okay, Tinker. He says you can speak. He's been in a noisy place, so maybe he's at the site or something working or so. So you give a presentation, then we'll close it up today. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, comrades, for the work you are doing. For
Okay, there's also
our
Champion
for our
requested me to do some interpretation.
Champion
Pardon?
did what?
I think it is a network.
No, I think Champion is at work. I know he's doing night shift. He must be busy at work.
Yeah, Champion busy with something.
Yeah, he had left a comment behind that. He had left a comment that he is in a noisy place, so he will not be able to give a presentation. So he said it's fine. So I thought he had already got a quiet place, but it's still okay. So Tinker, you can give a presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, dear comrades, for the work you are doing for this revolution or journey, which we are yearning that we can chase this dictator who has stayed in the power for 40 years, but nothing they have done for us as citizens of the country, Uganda. But what they have managed, it is that they have rooted us to reach on the extent that you can find that education, a graduate is on street looking for a job, but nowhere to be seen because he is not part of them. That is a challenge. Where they have changed the system of education, like now, you find that a kid of 2 years is in a nursery school, but is paying 700,000 shillings, Uganda shillings. Now, what does that child, is she or he going to, is he doing? At the end of the day, it is rooting the parents to reach on the extent of getting poverty in the families. Then what about those who doesn't have money? It means it is suffering. When we reach on the issues, how we can move this, we can take our messages to reach on our parents or our brothers and sisters deeply in the villages, mostly there where we are coming from, where there is no network. It is for sure, we need fund facilitations. to each and other. But how? Because some of us, we are not standing well in finance, but we are trying to use our social media, our platforms to take the messages, but we have our challenges. Which challenges? You find